Hey everyone. Um, so you guys talk for a second. So if you can't tell, I'm in a cry mood again. Um, such a big bitch, baby. So basically, I just watched Markiplier play a fan game that he played, I think almost a year ago now, and I just wanted to kind of expand on it. And I don't know what it was. It was Hearts and Heroes or something like that. I don't remember what the game was called. I'm actually gonna play it if I get the chance, but it I don't know why. I'm crying off of like happy emotions right now, not sad. But still I'm still crying. Um Seeing Markiplier react to that was epic. By the way, I'm just gonna point out it's like 2 a.m. right now. So please forgive me for being a bit tired. Um Also, before I go any further, I want to point out that I'm going to upload this immediately after I record it because I did mess up something with my phone plan. So for the next like day or so, I might not be able to upload starting in about an hour. So we'll see. Hopefully I fix that by the next day or so. But we'll see. I'll definitely be uploading stuff, but it won't be as much. Like today, I uploaded I think 4 or 5 videos at least. So we'll figure that out. But enough about that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I might not be posting as much tomorrow. Or I guess today, technically, because it's 2 a.m. Anyways, but I wanted to expand on something. Oh, God, I need a tissue again. Sorry. Excuse me. So, if you guys didn't know, my past has been real. I've had a really emotional, like, life. And I'm going to get pretty deep in this one. I've had stages of depression, and I still technically have depression as a diagnosis. Of course, it doesn't really affect me as much. As you could tell earlier today, though, it's kind of like I have these days where I just don't feel like doing anything, and that's kind of me in general because I'm just lazy. Um, heck, I had fuzz there. Anyways, but in general, I have certain days very rarely, every so often, that just make it hard for me to kind of be positive. If you know me, I'm normally very positive. My personality is always kind of upbeat, and I'm always humming, and even though I suck at it, I'm always humming and making some sort of tune. Just I'm so positive all the time. But like today, you saw a bit of it. I wasn't in a good mood, and it tends to happen. And a lot of this stems from my childhood and the things that I was born with and then born into. If you guys didn't know, I didn't know my birth parents, and I was put into an abusive foster family, and now I'm in the family I'm in now. So, and now I guess I'm an adult now, so I'm not being raised anymore. But I was, for the first 2.5 years of my life, I was in a horrible situation. And when I was growing up, um, it was hard for me to trust the new family because, of course, it was hard for me to trust anyone at that point. And I remember my mom telling me I wouldn't let anyone hug me and I wouldn't let anyone hum or whistle in the car because I didn't want to hear it because I didn't feel like I could join in with it. um, but as I grew up, I started to really realize that there were a lot of people who supported me. And if you didn't know, I actually had a lot of anger management as a kid because of a lot of things that stemmed from when I was younger. And as I grew, it continued to be a problem. I still technically have problems with anger management, but it's much better than when I was younger. I used to actually like put holes in walls and stuff, all around bad choices. Um, and it just didn't help with my relationship with anyone, family, friends. It just didn't make it nice. And most of the time with my friends, I wasn't that negative. They barely knew that I had any anger management. It was only because when they would come over, my parents and I would get into fights, and well, I put a hole in a wall. Which, by the way, I still have to fix one of the walls because I put a hole in it years ago and I still haven't fixed it. Oh, I should probably do this next weekend when I go to see my parents. I'll go make it up to them. I'm gonna go fix that wall. But anyways, yeah. So my whole childhood was pretty hard. But like I said, I grew up in a very supportive setting. Um, I had friends, family. Even though we got into fights, I would always have someone there after the fights to kind of talk to and help me through it. And if you didn't know, I actually had 7 therapists growing up. Not all at once, but over time. I had therapists since I was before I was even in school, for crying out loud. So yeah, I don't have a therapist now, but still, um, just shows I've come so far. But I would not be anywhere if it weren't for the people who gave me the strength to keep going. And that's also why I chose to make a YouTube channel, for crying out loud, to kind of share my story and get that out there for people so that they can know that they're not alone. And if they need to reach out to someone, reach out to me, for crying out loud. I'm always willing to help. And I literally was just humming or singing a song earlier. I'm not going to post it because I suck at singing, if you haven't already noticed from my previous videos. But I made a video where I recorded my own voice. I'm not gonna post it, but I recorded my voice and I was singing a song like it was something I just was making up on the spot, and believe it or not, it's pretty good. It rhymed and everything, and I'm keeping the recording. Maybe someday I'll release it, but it was an inspirational thing that I was kind of just thinking about in the moment, and it was about. I'm basically just gonna relay the message of it. If anyone ever is suffering, lend out a hand, because if any of you are suffering, I will do the same. Um, and that's something that I've always just done on instinct. I've just reached out if someone looks like they need it. And even if they don't accept my help, I'm still there for them. I'm still there if they do request it in due time. And it's something that I grew up having people around me who would do the same. So I just instinctively do it to others now. I'm there for them if they need it. I'm there for all of you if you need me. God, I'm such a baby right now. Um Basically though, the whole point of this video is I watched Markiplier play a fan game where at the end when he beat it, the developers had their own little character sprites, and the messages they had at the end was like there was a separate gallery basically of all the stuff like behind the scenes, how the game was made and all that. And the developers talked about how Markiplier was such a huge influence on them, and how they he always talks about being who you want to be, doing what you want to do, enjoying what you want to enjoy, and just be yourself. Go after your dreams and just do it. Just do whatever you want to do. And it's not saying break the law. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he always said follow the dreams that you want to pursue. If you don't want to do something, if you have the choice, don't do it. But if there's something that you really want to do, or you want to learn to do, or you just want to improve on, work towards it. And honestly, that's the same with me. Markiplier kind of told me to do the same thing in a way. And I always wanted to meet him in person. I've always wanted to meet him and Jacksepticeye in person because they've been two huge inspirations on my life, and they've gotten me through some tough times along with a lot of other YouTubers. Um, but Markiplier was always one of those inspirations he was always a silly guy, and the thing that you would love about him is that he made you laugh. He would just be so silly, and that was sometimes all I needed. Was just a positive little funny moment, like today when I was watching freaking puppies and kittens. It just made me smile, and that's all I really needed at the time. Sometimes just having something there to make you feel good, even for a moment, is all you really need. And if you couldn't tell, I was in one of those depressed states. It's not extreme depression, but it gets to that point at times. And if it possibly could have gotten even worse, I don't know because I didn't get that far. But this is kind of the stuff that I realized over time is that a lot of people do admire these people for what they do. Not because they do it, but because it helps, because they do it in a way that's supposed to help others. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense to me, okay? Um, but I want to point out that there was something talked about in the game a bit. And this is extremely true, and I hadn't actually thought of it this way. I hadn't thought of it like in this format. If you are in a depressed state, it's so much harder to get out of it. It's you feel so alone and you feel like the world is worse than it really is. So everything that happens after you get in that kind of slump, it just feels worse than it could be. And the further down that hole you get, the worse it feels, and the worse you're perceiving it to be. And sometimes it is just you perceiving it that way. It's not always as bad as you may think, but it definitely feels like it is. So I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, but I guess that was kind of today as well, because that was exactly how it was happening today. I very rarely get into those states, but it happens. And then having something inspirational like this video makes me cry, but it's a positive cry, and it's completely different. It doesn't let all the emotions as like the sad crying does for me, but it's still really uplifting to see that and see how people were inspired by someone. And that's something that someday I hope I can be. Like, I hope I can inspire people to do something that they enjoy, or just to kind of make them laugh, which is why the whole reason why I started YouTube and made myself a complete idiot like always. For crying out loud, I was freaking beating up this little bear on my Five Nights at Freddy's reaction video. Although I had to cut that out, didn't I? Dang it. I was beating him up with a stick, which, by the way, the stick is somewhere here. I'll grab it later. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video and go to bed because I probably need some sleep. And probably should leave my data because right now I only have a gig of data, which is, well, I had a gig of data and then I watched a 4-hour video, so I don't know how much I have left, but definitely not lots. So I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna upload the video immediately so I don't run out of data before that. And yeah, and then hopefully tomorrow I can get a new phone plan. I have to go out and buy it in person because I don't have a card to do it with, but I have cash, so I'll go out to an AT&T store somewhere. And yeah, I use AT&T, big one. And I'll purchase a new card, and I'll get my unlimited data, which is probably a waste of money because I paid $35 for 1 gig. Well, 1 gig and unlimited everything else, but still, I basically be wasting the $35 I spent. So, but it's worth it because I like being more active on my channel, even though it's not consistent in any way. I like being here at least once a day. You know what I mean? And today was like 4 or 5 times a day, so oof. But yeah. I'm just gonna end this video here. Bye, everyone. And if you ever see someone who needs help, lend them a hand, because that's what I would do. WWJD. What would Jake do? Don't. No. WWJD is what would Jesus do? Don't take me and replace it with no. Don't. I mean, it would make sense though. Just don't do it. Okay. My initial may be the same, but it's not the same. Okay. I am no saint. I am no perfect being who knows everything. I mean, I'm pretty cool, but not that cool. Anyways, bye everyone. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.